Hey everyone, it's Michael Kikle. I hope you're doing well today, and I have a video here for Batman Detective Comics Volume 9, Deface the Face. One of the worst titles, and probably one of the worst books I've ever read or heard, to be honest with you. Now, I read Volume 8 like a week ago. I reviewed it, had a cool villain named Karma. That was written by Brian Hill, right? Now, I didn't know that he was going to take off and do his own thing called The Outsiders with Black Lightning and all the Bat Family kids, essentially. Haven't read that, don't really care about it. But then this title, filling in until Tomasi takes over, or Tomasi, excuse me, Tomasi, who I'm going to keep messing up his name, he takes over after this book, and he is like the official run after that. Is that for the All-In era? I don't know. But Volume 9 here, Deface the Face, is written by James Robinson. It's like 6 issues long. It's creeping up on that Batman 1000, or Detective Comics number 1000, which I'll get to eventually. Anyway, this was awful. This was truly probably one of the worst Batman things I've ever read in my life. Everything about it that could be bad, aside from the art that's kind of hit or miss, because Batman will change his look. Sometimes he looks like Ben Affleck Batman, sometimes he doesn't. The yellow lining around his chest emblem, it's not there anymore, and I never got an explanation as to why. Not that I really care, but, still. This is mainly about Batman and Two-Face, but it kind of starts off with, and this is going to be, you have to understand, before I even get into the review here heavily, the plot is so nonsensical that, it has no real logic to it. So as I describe things, if you happen to have just read this, and I sound like I'm missing out on details, or I don't understand the plot, or whatever you want to say, if you think that, it's because the story is convoluted and nonsensical. It has no real pace to it that makes any logic at all, or any bit of sense. It's just horseshit, plain and simple. And having this lead into, number 1000 of Detective Comics and whatever, it's kind of an insult. I would be pissed off if I had been reading Batman all of my life, however, I have not. But I've been reading it enough to know when this is bullshit and when it's terrible. So it really starts off with Batman talking to Gordon about a very basic murder situation. And Batman from the get-go, his dialogue in this story is terrible. I don't know what Robinson was thinking, but he'll write Batman and have him say the word man at the end of sentences. So he immediately comes across like a hippie when he talks, but he's looking like regular Batman. Where the fuck were the editors for this book? Where were they? What were they doing that they weren't focusing on this story and how off Batman sounds in here? The voice for Batman is very distinct, just like it would be with Superman, just like it would be with Spider-Man. And in this book, it is so off that it rubs you the wrong way. No one could read this and feel like this is Batman. No one. And matter of fact, I was convinced when the book started off with how Batman talks with Gordon and how fucking weird the conversation is, that this was somebody else that was in place of Batman. Maybe he had been hurt, maybe he's off on vacation, I don't know. I was convinced that's what was happening here. It's not. This is how Robinson writes fucking Batman. Anyway, they have this super weird conversation where, I don't even know what to describe it as, but Jim seems uncomfortable, but, it doesn't seem like it was intentionally written that way. It's really funny, in a bad way. So, basically Batman thinks there's more to this crime murder thing. He doesn't really have any reason to believe that, aside from the person was shot with 2 different guns that had, it was 2 different types of guns with 2 different types of caliber. So he investigates. He suspects it might be Two-Face or somebody, and he gets drawn into this apartment building that then turns all on fire. It starts getting burnt down by Firefly, but the Firefly here is not the traditional Firefly as far as I can tell. No one knows where that guy is, but it's one guy, and then the Firefly that, from what I understand online, is from the Gotham TV show. I don't know how she ended up in here, but she's a new recruit, and they're part of an industry or something called Cobra, I don't fucking get it. And if it sounds like I'm an idiot, I'm sorry if this happens to be the first video you come across from me. I promise you I'm not an idiot. It's just comics can already be really confusing in general. Like, I would feel bad for a kid who picked up this book because they saw Batman and Two-Face, right? It's a fucking mess. It really is. And it has no real logic to it, because then it becomes a Two-Face teaming up with Jim Gordon and Batman story. But, like, Two-Face is supposed to be a good guy the majority of the story. But he's also, like, a John McClane action hero running around shooting guns beside Batman. But, like, Batman tells him no killing, but Two-Face keeps shooting at people. Like, they team up in here, right? Not trying to spoil too much. But it's fucking dog shit. It just is. Everything about it is. It's embarrassing. I can't believe this crap exists. Two-Face in general doesn't look very good. Somebody mentioned online, I don't think I ever saw this, but I haven't looked for evidence of it. Apparently sometimes the messed up half of his face sometimes has hair, sometimes doesn't. I didn't pay attention to that. But it seemed like with how many continuity issues and editing non-existent that I saw in here, it would not surprise me at all if that was the case. If these artists don't even collab enough to figure that out. Again, I'm saying all that without any proof, but with what I experienced in here with the terrible-ass Robinson-written story, dude, it would not surprise me at all. This is horrible. This might be probably one of the worst Batman stories I've ever read in my life. I mean, technically it's a limited series or a mini-series or whatever, even though it's not like a spin-off. It's part of the ongoing. But being like 5 or 6 issues long, it kind of flies by. But it's horrible. It's painful to sit through, man. I'm glad all the Bat Family people aren't here like they were in the previous run from Brian Hill on Volume 8. It's kind of nice not having them in the way. I kind of miss just Batman being by himself. But it's still annoying. I still feel like this compared to the shitty Tom King run, Tom King run's better than this. Tom King's run is more logical than this piece of shit. And that's like a taste issue thing with the Tom King run, whether you like it or not. I think a lot of the events by the end of it ruin it, make it even worse. To be fair, I didn't think the beginning was very good for the Tom King run either for the first couple of volumes, but this is just abominable, dude. I don't understand how this got to print. I don't understand how this made it to the printers and got in people's hands. This book right here is exactly why I don't buy physical, releases. Why I don't do a pull list every week or every month or whatever. This is exactly why. Because of how bad this shit is. Because this is too common now amongst modern comics. The lack of consistency, the lack of continuity, the lack of art continuity. All of those issues and having Batman say words like man at the end of his sentence is exactly why I don't read modern comics. They don't typically get it. You have too many clowns who do not know what they're doing and too many editors who especially don't know what they're doing because editors are the final filter of anything. I don't care if it's a movie, I don't care if it's a book, a game, whatever. Editors are the final filter for all of that shit. And this is a great example of one not knowing what the fuck they were doing or being out of the office or whatever, and something making it to print that should have never been there. It's horrible. By the end of it, the kind of twists they try to pull here with Two-Face are so damn stupid that I don't even know how to explain them. I couldn't explain them in a million years because of how stupid those things are. If you haven't read this before, I would almost ask you to read it just to put in the comments what you think about how stupid this nonsense was and the logic behind Harvey and like how they try to conceptualize Harvey a little bit different here than they ever did. It's awful. It's just fucking trash, dude. The way Batman is so out of character, not just from the dialogue, but some of his actions are just, what the fuck is he doing? I don't know. I can't believe how bad this is. I would love to hear from you folks out there who are typically involved with ongoings more so. This kind of book is so bad that it's exactly why people like myself kind of abandon ongoings as time goes on. This is exactly why I find myself more and more getting into miniseries and limited series, even though if they're part of the ongoings and stuff. But like these small miniseries of characters I love, like Venom Lethal Protector, which isn't perfect, but still, or like, The Long Halloween, which is a Batman story, or, right now, graphic novel I'm reading, All-Star Superman. Probably better than anything I've ever read with Superman in it. And it's complete. It was 12 issues. I don't have to know shit going into it. And if you do know shit, you have a lot of surprises in there, right? Graphic novels are the way to go at this point, even though I like to know what's going on with certain writers in trade paperback and ongoing and whatever. But I think I'm going to start getting a lot more picky about this kind of thing, man. The fact that the Absolute era has come around in DC Comics and become so popular, because it's a great jumping on point for like people who want to try that out. I wasn't crazy about Absolute Batman. I'm reading Absolute Superman right now. But like that graphic novel mentality that like everything could be concluded within a couple of years from now, and you'll have that full story, more than likely. It probably won't, but more than likely it could be. You may have a beginning, middle, and ending, and have everything building up from a great beginning point to a great ending, right? It won't be like a Batman where it's been around since like the 30s or 40s, and it's just fucking nonsense. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm really, really put off with this whole thing in general. Ongoings just, dude, they just get worse and worse. I don't care what character they are. They get worse and worse. There's very few worth checking out, in my opinion. So I'm amazed that this made it to print. This seems like a last resort situation where even the title of it, Deface the Face, is so embarrassingly bad that like you would have to do a full rebrand after this crap. You'd have to, because of how embarrassing it is as a company or anything. So, anyway, this book was trash. I'm sorry that the review is trash, but like, there's no way to make this comprehensible because the book itself isn't. You know what I mean? So anyway, what do you think about this piece of junk? Did you like Batman Detective Comics Volume 9, Deface the Face? I can't even say that title without cringing, man. Like, it irks me. It bothers me, you know? Did you like this book? Did you think it was good? Did you think Robinson did anything good at all here? I didn't. So anyway, thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. Catch you later, and goodbye. What's the worst Batman book you ever read? Or Batman story you ever read? Especially in modern day. This has to be one of them. I'd love to hear what you all have to say. Thank you again. God bless you again, and goodbye.